What's going on, everybody? My name's Gary and I play bass in Resistor. Today we'll be touching upon the gear that I use live on stage as well as the stuff that I use in the studio, which is more or less quite the same thing. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. This helps us a lot and it helps us continue to give you guys a deeper look behind the band. In today's video, I'll briefly touch about all the gear I use and the differences between owning a vintage style tube amp and the more modern Class D powered amp. Hope you guys enjoy it. Now I'm going to talk about the V4B. The V4B is a pretty interesting head. It's the first Ampeg head that I ever owned that's got 100 watts of power. And, usually I had an Ampeg Classic before, and that thing was 300 watts. It was great, it was loud, but it was very, very heavy at 90 pounds. I could not, not about it whatsoever. But if you go for this thing, the V4B, you get 100 watts of power, you get 40 pounds of weight. It's a lot more manageable. It's still a little heavy though, but maybe that's just my age. Here we have late 80s or early 90s silver face 8x10, and it sounds really, really good. I love it a lot. These put out the mid-range a lot better than the 2000s 8x10s. No disrespect to the 2000s 8x10s, they have their own sound. It's got like a more dark, it's got more dark modern Ampeg tone. This gives you the the early 60s, 70s, 80s Ampeg mid-range growl. But either way, you can't go wrong. That's why I have both. Next is the Darkglass Alpha Omega. Now, I used to be the biggest hater for Alpha Omegas and Darkglass in general. I was very, it was kind of like one of those guys that get mad at, newer things in general with technology. There's people out there that like analog, there's people that like digital. I like to say that, I like to embrace everything new because, yeah, if it's old, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's why I still have this thing. I fucking absolutely love this thing. But this thing has impressed me to a level that I cannot believe. It's 900 watts of Class D power. And usually when I've had a Class D amp, I used to have one before. I've never been a fan of Class D amps. They sound very, very, monotonous. But this one doesn't. Not whatsoever. This one sounds very full, very loud. It has its own distortion channel, which I'm currently using right now. It's not bad. I actually run a pedal through a clean channel with this, and because I A&D, usually in the practice space, when we're here, we run both setups at the same time. We get a phenomenal tone, a wall of sound, and that's how we play with. By ripping our ears out. Yeah. The best part about this thing, and I'll put it right here for you, is the back of this. Now the back of this has a post DI and a pre DI. This one doesn't. This one only has a pre DI. So you only get, the clean tone out of it. It's not bad, it's great. It's good for, front of house, but sometimes, I've had better luck sounding better on stage with Darkglass simply because I always use the post DI input. So all the distorted signals that I like to use get sent to the front of house, and you get a clearer signal with all the bigger speakers that get sent out to the crowd. And I get a lot of compliments from it, I've always gotten compliments with this thing live, but I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten drowned out. It's only 100 watts of tube power, but when you're in a small gig setting, that's all you really need. It's fucking amazing. It fills out the room nicely. And usually from the early 2000s, Class D amps, they never did a really good job at filling out the room. It felt more like a straight arrow kind of frequency that you would feel compared to like a tube amp. Tube amp, you would always feel the whole entire room get encapsulated. But this thing has changed. This thing has really completely changed my mind. It fills out the room very nicely. And friends of house people love it. That's pretty much it. This is by far the most important part in my rig, I feel. Because I feel like this is where really my tone starts to really define itself. And I get a lot of compliments from it, and it really does come down to the signal being put out by these specific items right here. I'll go one by one. We have a Fuzzrocious Anomalies pedal, and this is for intros. I like a lot of feedback, a lot of noise. I just crank these up babies all the way up, hit the button, start hitting the strings, you get crazy tones. You mess around with one of these knobs, it just does crazy octave noises. It's really cool. This is a mild delay pedal. I don't really use delay too much. I like to mess around with it at home by myself, but maybe one day we'll find a way to work this in our sound. And this is like the brains of my pedal board. This is an Earthquaker Devices Swiss things. It's really, really cool. It's basically a built-in A/B switch. It's got a boost feature. It's got a phaser out feature just in case you're getting a weird signal from running two heads at the same time. So you press that button and it, you know, helps you out. I've never had that issue though. This thing has, since day one, it has worked flawlessly. It has loop signals. For example, loop 1 connects to my distortion channels, and loop 2 is for my effects, my digital or, you know, my delay or reverb effects. I don't have any reverb at the moment right now. We have a Korg Pitch Black tuner, which is honestly the only tuner that I can use that picks up low drop E tuning very, very well. I have a Dunlop mini pedal, volume pedal. This is good so I don't have to switch channels, you know, put my heads on standby or mute for this one on stage. I just, you know, press this button and then boom, you know, no signal. Signal's on, signal off, great. And these two are my distortion channels. These are my Demon King pedals from Fuzzrocious. As you can see, I'm a big Earthquaker guy and a Fuzzrocious guy. I love them. They make really good stuff. I'm not one of those digital rack users. I love having an amp. I love having pedals. It's sort of my thing, but I do like to keep my boards to a minimum. I don't like too much going on, because if something goes wrong, you're gonna have a bad time live. Believe me, it's happened before. So I can see why people nowadays, they stick to like those rack designs, because, you know, it's just very convenient, which is why I got this thing. Very convenient. So yeah, these are two Fuzzrocious Demon Kings, and this is honestly, for some reason, this one just sounds more, I don't know, it cuts through a lot more than this one. It sounds more aggressive, it sounds more ballsy, and the thing about Fuzzrocious is they make their pedals as per order, you know. People customize them in many, many ways. This one's got the plain metal finish from Fuzzrocious, and this one is their kid painted Fuzzrocious Demon King, which is painted by one of their daughters, I believe, which is pretty cool. And they sound badass. When it comes to live music, you want distortion that just kicks you in the throat, and that's what they do. I mainly use this one right now. This one might be coming off my board soon. Might be thinking about selling it and putting in what I call the first tone loss free wireless, but no one knows about that yet. Haha. And last but not least, this is my Model T Session 5. It's made by Schecter, and I used to be one of the biggest Schecter haters ever. I'm a big Fender guy, and you know, I saw this thing and I was just like, wow, like I love tether bodies so much. I love the markings on the side here. Very good for live, by the way. I guess that's what they call it, the session series. It's all about, you know, pro audio kind of feel, and This thing is amazing. I have this little bad boy set to drop E0, also known as drop E on 8-string or 7-string guitars. And the strings I use are Kalium strings right now. They are 192 gauge here, and it's very fucking low, and it sounds crazy. You get a lot of flop, but it's it's pretty tight. You know, playing live, you'll find yourself in different venues, different rooms. Some are big, some are small, and a very quick thing that I like to do live is mess around with my tone knobs. It has a 3-band EQ. The bass is on the bottom, and the treble's on the top. And then we have the pickup features. This goes full P. This goes right in the middle, PJ. And then we have single J. I usually keep it in the middle because I really love their combined noise. But sometimes for certain parts, I will put the full P bass pickups on because it really does it well. It does that clear, clanky noise that I love so much. And then we have obviously our volume pedal. This bass is active. It gives you the option of loading the strings in through the bottom or through the body itself. I go through the bottom because these are 190 gauge and they're not going to fit through the back at all whatsoever. It sounds great, and if you're looking for a bass that's very quality type of materials and quality sound, I definitely recommend Schecter. Fender is great. Fender is a legacy brand. I mean, Schecter is at this point. They've been around forever. I just happen to be someone that started using them maybe a year or two ago, and I'm very impressed by them. Very impressed by the build quality. Seriously, if you don't want to break the bank and you want something good that sounds good for metal, and you can't afford an extended range bass like me, then you go for one of these babies. And that's it. Go to Kalium Strings. They'll hook you up. So there you have it, guys. That's my rig. I hope you enjoyed the video. It was my first time ever doing something like this. So, yeah, man, if you liked it, like, comment, subscribe, say whatever. You hate it, you love it. I want to hear it all. And if you want me to actually play my bass through my setup, write that down in the comments, and we're going to get some of that stuff out for you. Anyway, take care, guys, and thanks for checking us out.